Hello, sorry to say that last time I messed up and said We Are Soldier instead of We Are Marshall. The correct name of the movie from last time is We Are Marshall. Alright, I'm sure not too many people were misled, but just letting you know. Alright, enjoy the show. Hello, today is Wednesday, October 3rd, 2007. And haven't quite reviewed a few movies for a couple weeks now, so this is my chance to update you guys on what's new and what's hot. Anyway, first up is Knocked Up. Now, Knocked Up is a movie that came out last week. People have been asking about it for months, and it finally came out. So, anyway, what ended up happening was Knocked Up. Somebody gets knocked up, gets pregnant, and they didn't really know each other. So the two main characters, one guy, one girl, they go out to a bar one night and they end up getting together and, they do it. I'm going to try to make this a not quite rated R show, but anyway. So they do it, and what ends up happening 8 weeks later, sorry, so 2 months later, can't do math, don't mind me, I'm not really Asian, anyway. They get in contact with each other because the woman knows that she's pregnant. She's not getting fat, but she's pregnant, and she knows why because she hasn't been doing it with anybody else. And what ended up happening was, lots of awkwardness. They start to talk and they get to know each other, and believe it or not, I actually thought it was a pretty serious movie for what I felt like they advertised it to be. They advertised it to be a comedy. It was more of a drama, but there was a lot of funny parts to it, so that's why I still respect what they advertised. Anyway, I definitely recommend it. It's a pretty good movie. It was definitely enjoyable. And I want to say, to some extent, it's also fairly realistic with a handful of elements. Maybe not everything. We won't go into that, but there are a lot of small instances in between. So anyway, that's Knocked Up. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely worth a watch. I'd say thumbs up, definitely go watch it. Alright, anyway, another movie came out last week, not quite so high profile, was the movie Next. Now, this movie stars Nicolas Cage, and if you're a fan of science fiction or, movies with time travel or seeing the future, like Minority Report and stuff like that, I think it was actually made by the same people who made Minority Report, but it's called Next. If you've ever seen the trailer, it stars Nicolas Cage. His character can see 2 minutes into the future, but only of his own future. And this kind of poses an interesting dynamic. So, basically throughout the entire movie, you see him use his power, and it's not like he puts forth effort. Basically, he was born with it, and he can use it just persistently, like all the time. So, if you can imagine seeing so many alternate outcomes all at once, it's incredible the way that they did it, and they definitely make you feel like you see what he sees. Now, for those of you who don't like sci-fi movies, probably don't really watch it, unless you really like action movies, because for a sci-fi, somewhat thinking movie, there's a lot of action. It is kind of cheesy in the fact that there's a love story as well, but we won't really get into that, so we'll leave that be. Anyway, I greatly respected this movie, thought it was pretty good. I, for the last few years, have been kind of paying attention to Nicolas Cage a little bit. He does choose a lot of unique roles. If you've ever seen movies like, Ghost Rider, he did that. I think he did that trying to get into a lot of action flicks, because he hasn't been in too many besides, car chase ones, like Gone in 60 Seconds. But you've also seen him do, like, other dramatic things, like, Weatherman, The Family Man, other movies like that. Usually he's the main lead role, like, by himself. He doesn't usually pair up with too many other people. But anyway, Next, I thoroughly enjoyed it, liked it a lot, thought it was very action-packed. A little bit cheesy, but that's okay. It does a movie good. So, I think it's perfectly fine. You can definitely go watch it. Besides, there weren't too many other crazy action movies that came out recently, so. Anyway, so, that was movies for last week. Movies for this week, what we're going to review is 1408, Surf's Up, Rise, Blood Hunter, and then I got another movie that I watched in the movie theater, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. Okay, anyway, so 1408. This is a movie. It stars John Cusack. You don't really see him do too many, horror roles. I wouldn't quite call this movie a horror movie, but it definitely has a lot of horror elements in it. Basically, the premise of the movie is he plays a writer who likes to write about scary experiences, but usually most of the time he goes to debunk those mysterious, curses or myths or whatever. And what ends up happening is he hears about this room in a hotel, and the room is 1408. I don't remember exactly what the hotel was. It was like the Dolphin Hotel in like New York. I'm not even sure if it's a real hotel. Somebody can look that up and find out. But basically he goes in there, and the premise is nobody has survived the room for more than 1 hour. And it seems as though, as you go through the story, you find out that the room has a personality all its own. Like, pretty much the entire movie is Nicolas Cage. Sorry, not Nicolas Cage. I lied. John Cusack. Thinking about the last movie now. John Cusack. He is pretty much in the room by himself the entire movie, with the exception that he does see a lot of hallucinations of like other people, and he sees, other things that he can interact with that seemingly respond to his, questions or, his threats or whatever he likes to do in the room. I mean, what if you were in a room and you were locked in and you couldn't get out? What would you think? Anyway, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I liked it a lot. Definitely recommend. It's not quite for everybody. If you're kind of easily scared, you might be scared of this movie. But, again, I don't want to really call this a horror movie, because it seems more of like a thriller suspense movie to me. So, we won't even go there. English semantics. It's silly.